All right, up next in our orientation series of videos and basic documentation that you need to be hiring employees for your company is going to be a social media and photo release form. So literally it's a one page, simple little document. If you're going to do a YouTube channel, if you're going to advertise, basically anything you're going to do, you need it. If your company uses Facebook, if your company uses LinkedIn, if your company uses any type of marketing whatsoever, even if it's paper marketing, like old school where you hand out postcards or whatever, you're going to want to have a social media and photo release form for every single one of your employees so that they can't force you to take down a photo or a video in the event that something happens between you and that employee. So this ties back into something that I might have spoken about in another video, but you run into this thing where when your relationship's good with your employees, things are always going to be good. And when you're in the beginning, we just filmed another video and I talked about how every company kind of starts out the same time, especially with construction and service industry businesses. You kind of have a tendency to start kind of off the cuff, like working on the weekends and working at night when you have time. And then it kind of snowballs into being a little bit more than that. And maybe then it becomes your full-time gig. And then all of a sudden you hire your buddy or you hire your brother-in-law to come work for you because he's out of work and he needs something to do. And you're paying him cash under the table and, you're trying to build something, but you don't really know how to build it. Well, when things are going good, those relationships are going to be okay. But as soon as your brother-in-law comes to you and says, "Hey, Jim down the street offered me $38 an hour to come work for him. I know I can't read a tape measure, but I think I'm worth it." And you got to look at him and say, "Hey, man, the $14 I'm paying you is way more than you're worth, probably. I could give you $17 an hour just because we're family and I'd like for you to stay and we work well together. Is that okay with you?" And he says no. And then he goes down the street and that job doesn't work out because he can't read a tape measure. He comes back and you're like, "Hey, sorry, I filled your spot. I can't afford to have two guys with me right now and you're going to miss out." Well, then he's sitting at home drinking some Bud Heavies, thinking about what's going on in his life, thinking about who he can blame besides himself, because that's the tendency for the people that work for us. He's going to sit around and he's going to say, "You know whose fault it is? It's Tony's fault. It's his fault that I'm sitting here and I don't have a job. What can I do to get back at him?" And he's just going to rack his brain and think about it. And then somebody's going to say, "Hey, I saw a picture of you on Facebook yesterday and it was you working on a shed, putting a shutter up on a window." And you're like, "What? I haven't done that in 4 months." And then you go and look and it's an advertisement for your company and your brother-in-law's picture's on there hanging up a shutter. And he's like, "I got him now. I'm going to send a cease and desist letter and I'm going to hire an attorney and I'm going to sue him for using my picture." Well, they really can't get anything out of that. I know we live in a litigious society, or a society that likes to use the law to go after people or after companies. But in situations like that, I've gotten some cease and desist orders and things like that. All you really have to do is comply and it kind of goes away. But this allows you to not have to comply. You can just say, "Oh, no, 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 no. He signed right here. It doesn't say that it terminates when his employment with me terminates. It says I can use photos of him on the job that I took anytime I want for any reason that I see fit." So it just protects you from that. That's kind of an extreme angle, but I have had an employee leave and then they didn't really hire an attorney, but they did try to call and send threatening emails saying that if I didn't take their photo down, they were going to call an attorney. And I just didn't care. I let them vent and go on about their way, and eventually it went away, but they knew that they had signed this form and there was nothing that they could do. That's another video brought to you by Beyond the Estimates. Look forward to talking to you next time. This will be available for download in the link below. Please feel free to download it, check it out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them. Like, comment, subscribe for more.